the Heads Up Radio Network. The Ref, Carmine Conti.
And good afternoon out there in Radio Land, Internet Radio Land, some land, the land before time. Welcome to The Ref. My name is Carmine Conti. I portray the vision of The Ref. And I'm going to kind of break down just sort of what the format of the show is here for you to understand. It's an entertainment show, and we're going to talk about all types of entertainment, not just sports. So when you think The Ref, it's like, you know, there's marriage referees, of which I'm not. I guess I am. Well, maybe I am a marriage referee. Well, anyway. Sports official or sports ref and entertainment ref. My job here is to make entertainment fair or keep it fair. Let's leave it as that. Keeping entertainment fair. I think my producer said that. And that's kind of the format here. We're going to talk about a myriad of different entertainment topics, and we're going to kind of lay out the topics or the format of this is each week is what we're going to do is we're going to find the hot topics of the week. And then we're going to talk about which ones that we think are the real hot ones, and then let you put your finger on it by calling in and possibly giving your opinion, the way you feel about that hot topic, and then let you make the call. And we're going to call that the You Make the Call section. Really funny. That was cute. And then last but not least, we're going to have the ruling, and that's where I'm going to kind of spend a few minutes and kind of give you my thoughts about what the hot topics are of the week and what I think of them, and taking your opinion and my opinion. Hopefully we can come to some understanding. Also, we're going to feature here, this is a live show, as you may know, and we're going to do this every Wednesday, probably at around 3 o'clock. But let me back up just a little bit there by saying every. There are going to be situations where, for instance, we might have a guest artist in town, and or a coach or something that we might want to interview, and we'll probably have to do that on a Friday or sometimes later in the afternoon or sometimes before the 3 o'clock scheduled broadcast of the Ref. And for that, we will then simulcast that interview. So there won't be any per se call-ins, but they'll be able to you'll be able to send in text or emails, or go to our website, which we always want you to do anyway, which is, of course, www.headsupradio.com. You can do that now and get on that page, and at the top there, besides the welcome, there are the names of the celebrities. I guess we're celebrities, and we are doing these shows. Mary Souza does a show here at noon on Wednesdays. Common Sense Radio for Mary, which is a great show. I'll give a little plug for Mary there. And then Mike Loy, our happy gun-toting aficionado of worldly advice of rules and regulations about guns and laws and things that you would be interested in knowing. I know if you are somebody that packs some heat, whatever that might be. But Mike does his show usually at 6 on Wednesdays, and so there you go. There's the lineup. Mary at 12, Carmine at 3, and Mike at 6. On Heads Up Radio, that's www.headsupradio.com. And also, if you want to chime in with us here, you can also then send me an email at Carmine. I drive a car, and it's mine, at headsupradio.com. That'll send a email to me directly through Heads Up Radio. And also, last but not least, our call-in line, which is 208-758-0546. That's 208 in the state of Idaho, 758-0546. And that's how you kind of get involved with Heads Up Radio and me, the Ref, or Mary Souza, or Mike Loy. And we want you to become our radio family. We're broadcasting all over the world until we get that wonderful 800 number. I'm sorry about you people in New Hampshire. But remember, it's might only be, you can save yourself some money and just email me instead. How's that? Eventually I am going to get a direct text line too, so you'll be able to text in during the show, which will then make me have to be able to chew gum and walk at the same time. But we want you to do that as well. So without any further ado, I've kind of given you the parameters of the show, what we're going to do. And so let's talk a little bit about, I'm going to kind of throw out there the hot topics of the week, what's going on here locally, because we do want to promote this locally as well as nationally. So here in a lovely Inland Empire is what we're called here, anything east of the mountains before we get to the other mountains is the Inland Empire. And we've had some exciting stuff going on. Matter of fact, we have some exciting stuff going on this weekend. First but foremost, I do want to reach out and say, listen, if you had a chance to go to Joe Bonamassa last night at what they used to call the old Opera House in Spookaloo, I hope that you had a great time. A personal friend of mine went, and I guess Bonamassa tore it up. Which reminds me of the last time I think I saw a guitar player in the Opera House, and that was Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I still think I have some hearing impairment from that. But my understanding, though, from my buddy, the Dago, told me that quite a show Bonamassa put on, multiple standing ovations, and I just want to reach out there a little bit and talk about this. Bonamassa is probably at this time one of several guitar players in the world that I would recommend, if you've never seen him, to go see him. He's a standout. He's considered by many a virtuoso. There happens to be a lot of people out there that have different tastes about guitar players and have made reference to whether or not they think of his skills of being a virtuoso. Let me say something. Not everybody loves Jeff Beck, but Jeff Beck would qualify, in my book anyway, as a virtuoso. And does Bonamassa have a style? Yes, he does. And if you're not seeing that style, as you wouldn't maybe Stevie Ray Vaughan or Jeff Beck, just to name a couple, two or three, then, your opinion's good, but you're falling short on, other people who happen to think that maybe this guy is a virtuoso. So to all his own, if you went to the show last night, I'm sure you were entertained, as my friend was. And so, Dago, if you're sitting out there and you're feeling like other people have opinions, that's all they have. And just remember that. I'm sure it didn't affect Joe's playing at all last night on stage, wondering if some guy from Kellogg thought he was good or not. So let's reach out here and congrats to the Joe Bonamassa tour. We hope they come back through here again sometime, and reach from that into what we have coming up this weekend, which is our blues festival right here at the Coeur d'Alene Resort. And the Coeur d'Alene Resort now has been putting on a blues festival for the last several years. And it just keeps getting better and better, guys. And they're bringing in some talent here. And we get a little bit of local talent, and we get a little bit of regional talent. And this year they're bringing in some heavy hitters. They have a gal coming in who's on Alligator Records named Geneva Magnus. If you've had a chance to listen to Geneva, I'm sure you would agree she has been nominated for multiple blues awards through the blues societies throughout the country, and most notably has won several of these awards. And you can find her on Alligator Records, which one of her stablemates will be performing as well this year, and Curtis Salgado. Salgado, of course, one of the original members of the Nighthawks, which then became the Robert Cray Band. So if you're a person sitting over in Eugene, Oregon, you'll know what I'm talking about. And, of course, Curtis's fame was kind of teaching John Bellucci about being a blues brother. But Curtis is going to honor us again this year over here at the resort, and several others in the lineup. Sammy Eubanks is on the bill this year. Of course, Big Mumbo, I think, is back, and a couple local acts striving to be into the regional aspect of what's going on. And I think that you'll find the show very entertaining. Matter of fact, we might have a guest I'm hoping for this is one of those interviews I talked about earlier, that she'll come in on Saturday and do the interview, and then we'll broadcast it next week. And that's Polly O'Keefe, who has just released her own album. And Polly's playing with the Randy Oxford Band. And she'll be in town here, and I'm kind of trying to build a series on female bass players. Everybody kind of like chick bass players, you know. But I'm kind of building a regional, national one show on that. But we're going to do an interview with Polly probably Saturday afternoon before she has to go play Saturday night, and we will simulcast that either on Monday or possibly, or for sure, probably next Wednesday when we do the show. So don't call in. You won't be able to talk to Polly, and Polly won't want a cracker, and you won't be able to talk to her. Other than that, let's see. Anything else going on locally here? Well, the Blues Festival is one of them. Of course, we do have some things set later on for this year with some festivals coming up this summer. But those are the two that come to mind. But, of course, then the feature of this show is going to be the hot topic of the day is going to be March Madness. And why is March so mad? And we're going to kind of discuss that with you today, and we're hoping for some input on that. We got a few call-ins, and those are our hot topics for the day. As I said, if you want to get a hold of us here and be able to call into the show, just pick up that phone, now 208-758-0546. When we get to the call, you make the call portion of the show, so we're not into that now. But when we come back here, after we're going to take a little short break here, sell some chicken, get some people involved with us. And when we come back, we're going to go ahead and start the topic of the day, which is March Madness. And I'll catch you in about 3 or 4 minutes while Trip fires up the chicken. Remember, you're listening to the Heads Up Radio Network. To the Ref.
Restoration is ready for spring. Are you? Let Avalanche get you ready for summer by making your house or business springtime clean. For all your carpet, upholstery, and window cleaning needs, even those emergency cleanups, call Avalanche. 208-762-2227. Emergency hotline 208-818-4411. Or online, avalancheclean.com. Avalanche. Fast, safe, and reliable.
In this world of moving commerce, your business is either moving forward or moving backwards. Make sure it moves forward. Maybe it's time we build a spot that fits your image. Blue Creative Group takes the time needed to put together a spot you want people to hear and make it a marketing tool to drive customers to your business. With the tools that experienced ad agencies and radio stations lack, Blue Creative Group will score it, voice it, and produce it, and if need be, place it on radio and TV stations throughout the Northwest. Blue Creative Group lets you make your branding personal to your target audience. Be creative, be productive, while being cost-effective. Be Blue. Blue Creative Group. Creative marketing plans for the 21st century. Call today, 208-758-0546. 208-758-0546.
Sorry, Jen, I can't make it to our coffee date today. My kids are sick again, and I have a terrible headache, and medicine just doesn't seem to help.
Seems like you guys are always sick. Have you had your house tested for mold?
Come on, Jen, you know me. I keep my house spotless. There's no mold here.
That's what I thought about our house. We had the same problems last year and called Mountain Mold Testing. They came right out and inspected our whole house for mold.
Really? What happened?
Well, Mountain Mold Testing took air samples, and the lab test showed that we were breathing dangerous, invisible mold. We got the mold cleaned up, and now we don't have any more wheezing, headaches, or congestion. They gave us a
Ref.
Numerous health problems, including allergies, chronic illness, asthma, and lung infection. Children, pregnant women, and the elderly are especially susceptible. Call Mountain Mold Testing at 208-660-8877. That's 208-660-8877. Online at mountainmoldtesting.com.
Keeping entertainment fair. It's the Ref. Carmine Conti here on the Heads Up Radio Network.
And welcome back to the Ref. My name is Carmine Conti. I am portraying the act of the Ref. Welcome back to Heads Up Radio Network. It's a beautiful, 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 beautiful Wednesday afternoon here in lovely Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, the city by the lake. And we're talking about March Madness is our topic of the day. It's going to be our featured topic of the day. We want you to chime on in if you get a chance to. I gave you the numbers prior again, but we're going to do this segment. It's kind of really going over the March Madness, or what is March Madness, what we can think of when we think of March. March is I guess it's a mad month. Time to be mad. Just like the commercial, time to be mad at your mold. That was an interesting commercial. I like that one. Be mad at your mold. Kill it. And that's kind of March. March, it's the Ides of March. The many things of March that, what is it that makes March such a mad month? And wow, there's a lot going on to it. Of course, we spring ahead almost immediately. We're just coming out of Festival Carnival, and which is going into Lent, and then we spring ahead, and then right away we go right to St. Patrick's Day, why we're practicing all these good things about Lent. If you're of the Catholic origin, then boom, right away, let's go out and get drunk. So, of course, St. Patrick, born of Italian parents, became the patron saint of the Irish there, and why we celebrate St. Patrick's and have a great time. It's a feast, and of course not just a drinking party, but it is a celebration of feast. And prior to that, or coming into that, as I said, as we spring ahead in our time zones and start to get ready for what used to be actually the first month of the year per the Roman calendar. And that dates back to about 44 BC when they actually changed the calendar over to what it is now. But March used to be the first month of the year. I kind of like the idea. I think maybe we should go back to it. First month of the year, there's no snow, it's spring, things are turning from brown to green, we get to get drunk on Paddy's Day. And of course, there's a celebration for mothers, as well as in Italy, they actually celebrate Father's Day in March. So it's a worldwide. It's not just something here we do in the U.S., but St. Patrick's Day in March and the Ides of March. Of course, the Ides of March are about the killing of Julius Caesar. And but with death comes birth of a new year. And in Canada, actually, they celebrate March as the end of their fiscal year. So March has many, 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 many aspects of March. And we like the idea of celebrating it in a sense that be safe and sane. It's kind of like the old adage about fireworks, but moderation, guys. And then, of course, the big thing, of course, is March Madness, referring to basketball. And I got a couple things here I wanted to, that I kind of looked up, did a little research on that I thought you might enjoy in regards to the March Madness. Now, as I said, it's all part of the entertainment package here, as the ref is, and we want to celebrate a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of sports, and so we're going to talk a little bit about March Madness. And March Madness was actually born in Illinois, as far as the basketball aspect of it, and the annual tournament of high school boys basketball teams, sponsored by the Illinois High School Activities Association, actually grew from a small invitational affair in 1908 into a statewide institution with over 900 schools. 900 schools competing by the late 1930s. So a field of teams known as the Sweet 16. And I don't actually know if that's where the adage of Sweet 16 came from, but that might be left for another show. But routinely drew about, as you know, sellout crowds, as they were saying, to the University of Illinois and the Huff Gymnasium. So in a time before television and before the college game became popular with the average fan, and before professionals and leagues had established a foothold in the nation's large cities, basketball fever had already reached an epidemic proportion in the land of Lincoln. So where did March Madness start? Well, it started back in the land of Lincoln, and which should probably make Barack happy, because that would be another thing maybe he thinks he had something to do with. But other than that, I don't want to be political, and And that's one side of our story in March, and why it's been mad for such a long time. And, I kind of looked at all this thinking about, I wrote a little kind of my own little poetry for this, and my little poetry goes something like this. There was a time before balls of March took a flying, when madness prevailed before common sense. Leaders were impaled and left in blood lying. And we're still sitting on that proverbial fence. It only took time before March was moved and people's lives were spent on things that they held so dear. The Ides are gone, and the new celebrations now mark a new month each year. As saints celebrate, fathers acclaimed as heroes families hold dear, mothers rejoice at Mimosa's bloom voice, honoring them each year. But what of tradition, honor, and respect? Our past is now in a state of neglect. It's time spring to spring ahead, and time to reflect on what has passed by us again and again. Memories of loves and hate swearing will never undo that again. March is a madness that will always visit us each year. And to those that embrace it, past them we raise a cheer. So there's March Madness for you guys, and we'll talk a little bit about the basketball, and we're approaching here right into our call-in time. And so if you're sitting there anxiously by your phone and thinking, who do I call in and what do I want to talk about? Well, call in and let's talk about March a little bit, and let's talk about why you're so mad. But while you're contemplating that, I think we're going to go out and we're going to sell some pizzas this time or something. Maybe we get some pizza sold. I don't know. Get Trip involved. Trip is in there. He likes pizza. Actually, no, he had some chicken today. So listen, give us a call. Here's the number one more time before we go to break. It's area code 208-758-0546. Give us a fancy call here, and let's talk about March Madness and maybe why you're so pissed off. You're listening to The Ref. My name's Carmine Conti, and listening to us right here on the Heads Up Radio Network.
I'm talking about my boy Hubley.
In this world of moving commerce, your business is either moving forward or moving backwards. Make sure it moves forward. Maybe it's time we build a spot that fits your image. Blue Creative Group takes the time needed to put together a spot you want people to hear and make it a marketing tool to drive customers to your business. With the tools and experience ad agencies and radio stations lack, Blue Creative Group will score it, voice it, and produce it, and if need be, place it on radio and TV stations throughout the Northwest. Blue Creative Group lets you make your branding personal to your target audience. Be creative, be productive, while being cost-effective. Be Blue. Blue Creative Group. Creative marketing plans for the 21st century. Call today, 208-758-0546. 208-758-0546.
Sorry, Jen, I can't make it to our coffee date today. My kids are sick again, and I have a terrible headache, and medicine just doesn't seem to help.
Seems like you guys are always sick. Have you had your house tested for mold?
Come on, Jen, you know me. I keep my house spotless. There's no mold here.
That's what I thought about our house. We had the same problems last year and called Mountain Mold Testing. They came right out and inspected our whole house for mold.
Really? What happened?
Well, Mountain Mold Testing took air samples, and the lab test showed that we were breathing dangerous, invisible mold. We got the mold cleaned up, and now we don't have any more wheezing, headaches, or congestion. They gave us our health back.
Mold can cause numerous health problems, including allergies, chronic headaches, asthma, and lung infections. Children, pregnant women, and the elderly are especially susceptible. Call Mountain Mold Testing at 208-660-8877. That's 208-660-8877. Online at mountainmoldtesting.com.
Carmine Conti, The Ref, here on the Heads Up Radio Network.
And welcome back to The Ref. My name's Carmine Conti, and I am The Ref. Today and always, I guess. Hey, listen, welcome back to the Heads Up Radio Network. Today we're talking about March Madness and why everybody is so mad in March. Maybe it's just not mad. Maybe I can refer to that more kind of like the, as mad as a March hare, if that rings a bell to anybody. That's kind of the whole spin-off. It's an English thing, but it's kind of a whole spin-off of the Alice in Wonderland. But actually, I did a little research on this, and mad as a March hare is kind of unlike Alice in the sense that, remember, if you watched Alice or whatever version of it you did watch, the rabbit was always kind of like crazy. But actually, it's crazy because it's their breeding season. I guess they breed from like March till like September. Crazy rabbits. But why are you so mad in March? That's what we were kind of employing into. So we were kind of hoping that we could get everybody involved today in a little talk through about why is March Madness so maddening to you? And for most, I will say, it's all about the NCAA. March Madness, or the NCAA National Tournament, where they crowned the national championship. And so we're going to kind of focus on that a little bit, talk a little bit of basketball, that is entertainment, and kind of maybe your picks. It seems like, my picks kind of just went away, and shock value to me. I was definitely kind of pulling for the old Wichita State thing. I mean, I don't think a team since Indiana, I might be wrong on this, but I don't think a team since Indiana has gone undefeated throughout the season and then on through the national tournament. So Bobby Knight will rest assured that he still holds that place, other than only by himself, even over the great John Wooden and stuff like that. But Wooden's time was before that, I believe. And so the last person or the last team was Bobby Knight's team from Indiana. So Wichita's out for me. I guess I'm going to have to kind of pull for the Bruins or something like that. But I'll tell you, there's about 4 or 5 teams. The one thing I do love about this tournament is the fact that you don't know. I would have not picked Kentucky having 4 freshmen to beat Wichita, who was a Final Four member last year. I just didn't see that coming. It kind of shocked me in that Wichita would lose to Kentucky. But, this is all about becoming the prime team at the prime time. And remember, guys, it's just a tournament. It's our national championship tournament, or not mine in particular, but ours, meaning the one that started in Illinois, as you might remember, and has our national championship tournament. But it is, to me, just a tournament. It means as much to me as the team that was number 1 at the end of the year. And that kind of plays a little bit in the local for us last year, as if you might remember, Gonzaga was the number 1 team at the end of last year, and then promptly got bumped out, I think, in the first weekend, actually, the second game of the first weekend, almost like Wichita State. So, you can't take away from a year of great basketball, especially a team that goes undefeated. And you might argue here and there in the regards to it might be upon their schedule, and that Gonzaga didn't play enough quality teams as the Big East or the Big Ten, what used to be the Big Ten, or the Pac-12 now. And this is why they're able, this is why they're not able to really fulfill the dream in some minds. And I say to that, it still takes, anybody knows this. If you know this from football or any other sport, anybody can be beaten on a given night. And that's something to behold. You can win 35 games in a row, and then you get knocked out in the second game of the tournament. But listen, congratulations to Wichita State. I feel bad for the kids. Would have liked him to at least see the Final Four. It would have helped me in my pool. And but so be it. Kentucky, I'm sure, is going to represent well from that bracket. Of course, now they meet Louisville, which is, boy, how would you like to be from Kentucky and go to that game? So anyway, who else? Who else is a big star in this tournament? And if you want to call in and share that with me and your favorites on that, please go ahead. You can text in on it and everything like that. I'd be loving to have you with that. Or what other madness would you like to talk about? You know, that's something also too. We're not just applicated to the basketball situation, though it is March Madness and it is an entertainment value, and it picks up again here this weekend, and we're going to get right down now to it, to the Final Four. But who are your favorite teams? Or any thoughts about the tournament? How do you feel about it? Okay. And what we're going to do is that since we are able to talk about things like March Madness and things that are mad, I think we have a caller in. And of all things, I believe it's my son from Los Angeles, California. Tyler, are you out there?
I'm here, Dago. What's going on?
Hey, I am. How are you, son?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
I'm pretty good, man.
It's March Madness, man. It's March Madness.
Yeah, it is March Madness. But I'm not really paying too much attention to, I've watched a couple of the highlights and stuff, but I'm mad about some other things.
Hey, man.
I'm not really
Let's get on with that mad stuff. I was going to talk to you about, I don't know if you heard any part of the first part, but are you as mad as a March hare?
I didn't hear that part. No.
It's an old saying, the March hare. It was kind of how they built the Alice in Wonderland thing, but everybody thought, you remember Alice in Wonderland. I took you to Disneyland enough.
Mm-hmm.
What are you mad about, little Dago?
Well, my thing right now is the whole Facebook trend, man. I had to get rid of my Facebook, and man, it's just hilarious to me. I kind of laugh when I see people on their phones all day long, and not communicating with each other person to person anymore. And I had to get rid of it because I was looking at it every day, getting addicted to reading people's news feeds, and I realized I was reading books or notes from the world's crappiest authors, and I decided I needed to start reading some books from some talented authors, so I just put Facebook down.
Sometimes it's like the saying, they shoot horses too, and I think sometimes Facebook needs shot. And it's turning. It's I try to use it as a information highway, and I think that the guidelines are so oblivious or open that what's really starting to get to me, and I'm about at the same point that you are, is that what's getting to me is it's just politics, and it's over and over and over about, the Republicans are responsible for a jetliner crashing in the Indian Ocean. It's like, come on, man, really?
Right.
And I know when you had it before, you would use it to advertise your gigs, places where you're playing, and say, hey, come on out, support this. It's live music. I'm totally for that. And don't get me wrong, I still have some friends, musician friends, that use it for that purposes.
Right.
But
I think I'm done. Hopefully I can stay off it forever, but it's such an addiction, man. It's like the new crack. And I can't lie, I'm addicted to it, man. We're going to need some Facebook Anonymous here pretty soon.
Oh, we could be Facebook counselors. Think about that. Well, what's your problem? Well, every time I get up, I got this twitch, and it leads me right into clicking onto Facebook.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm mad at right now. That's really the only thing I can think of.
That's the only reason you're mad in March?
I'm trying to stay positive and not the HIV kind.
Oh. Hey, I got a new song. I know you're a song guy. We got a little bit about you. I mean, you write songs, and I got a song title for you. I was thinking about this the other night, and I forgot to pass it on to you in text on Facebook. And it's like, okay, here, you ready for your new song? It's like, my sweet tooth says I wanna, but my wisdom tooth says nada.
I like that. I like that. Kind of smooth.
Kind of just, yeah.
Nice.
So what are you doing down there? How are things going in Los Angeles this time around? I mean, you vacillate back and forth.
It's good. I mean, I came down here because I'll drive myself off of a cliff before I go back to work at a restaurant. But that's me personally. I understand now that everyone kind of has their own calling, but for me, music is all I'm really able to be happy doing. So. Well,
yeah, Ty, but you were being featured as the singing meatball. I mean, I wouldn't go back either.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, Los Angeles is the good thing about LA and all the big cities that I got a chance to either live in or travel to. They thrive and things are happening.
Well,
I really want to check out Nashville as well. But
oh yeah, let's hold that thought because I want to move on to that thought. Stay on line. I'm going to go sell some chicken, or in your case, meatballs. And you're listening to the Heads Up Radio Network. I am Carmine Conti. I am the ref. Stay tuned while we go sell some meatballs, and we'll be right back with Tyler.
I can't make it to our coffee date today. My kids are sick again, and I have a terrible headache, and medicine just doesn't seem to help.
Seems like you guys are always sick. Have you had your house tested for mold?
Come on, Jen, you know me. I keep my house spotless. There's no mold here.
That's what I thought about our house. We had the same problems last year and called Mountain Mold Testing. They came right out and inspected our whole house for mold.
Really? What happened?
Well, Mountain Mold Testing took air samples, and the lab test showed that we were breathing dangerous, invisible mold. We got the mold cleaned up, and now we don't have any more wheezing, headaches, or congestion. They gave us our health back.
Mold can cause numerous health problems, including allergies, chronic headaches, asthma, and lung infections. Children, pregnant women, and the elderly are especially susceptible. Call Mountain Mold Testing at 208-660-8877. That's 208-660-8877. Online at mountainmoldtesting.com.
Looking for something different to do tonight? Thinking of a restaurant that you haven't been to for a while, or a place to take the kids out for a fun night? Ever find yourself in this situation? This is a question that prompted publisher Jeanette Dunn to create Idaho Cuisine and Spokane Sizzle dining and entertainment guides. And it just keeps getting better with their pocket guide, online editions, and now online local restaurant finder at sizzleandcuisine.com. Also find local wineries, breweries, distilleries, great recipes from local chefs, hot spots and cool happenings, and chances to vote for your favorites. Be in the know about local happenings when you sign up for the Sizzlin' Cuisine e-News, delivered to your desktop weekly, and be eligible to win a free dinner for two. You've always enjoyed reading the magazines. Now it's easy to flip through them online, too. Makes it easy to find restaurants that offer great menus prepared by experienced staff who really care to serve you the best in local cuisine. Spokane Sizzle and Idaho Cuisine are online at sizzleandcuisine.com. We do the footwork to make it easy for you to find just what you're looking for. Support of Heads Up Radio's audio stream comes from people like you. Join the thousands that make independent radio stations like Heads Up Radio available to the public and your community. Please donate today. Keeping entertainment fair. It's the Ref. Carmine Conti here on the Heads Up Radio Network.
Welcome back to our show today. Today's main theme topic of the day, of course, is March Madness, which there's not a lot of March left, but I'm still mad. Not really mad, but kind of mad. Actually, I'm on the phone here with Tyler Conti. Tyler, are you out there still?
What's up?
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, listen, man, we were talking a little bit about what's going on, more or less. I mean, I know you obviously pretty well, and let's talk a little bit about what you're doing down there this time. I know you don't want to be the singing meatball anymore, but what's happening down there? What are you working on? What's going on with you? I mean, I could preempt it a little bit and tell everybody, you know, Tyler's kind of was signed to Warner Brothers, did some stuff over here, did some stuff over here, did some TV stuff, went to Russia, killed Putin, ate lunch with Putin, and actually did the festival over in St. Petersburg, beautiful place, really close to Sochi, which where the Olympics were. And I didn't tell anybody that, you know, you were messing around with the ski team from there. So, but what you doing now there, big guy? What's going on in your life now?
Well, I'm on the journey to finish my next record, and I'm about 6 songs through. So I'm recording right now, in the process of that, and I'm also doing a bunch of other small things on the side to survive and make money.
Yeah.
Which, are
in the land of law.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Just finishing this record here.
Well, and also too, I mean, you're possibly going to do some work with some of the people from the Babyface Chorale, or?
Well, I'm hoping for that. Right now, I'm working with Antonio Dixon, who is the other half of Faith Tone Productions, so Babyface and Antonio Dixon, and I just have done a few songs, writing to a few songs, and trying to connect with him to be a possible writer as their team, or with their team, or an artist signed to their label. So whatever they would have me as, I would gladly be a part of, and it's been cool. We've made a few songs in the past couple weeks that are pretty phenomenal.
Right on.
Yeah.
And you got your SAG card, so you can attack Joan Rivers and things like that.
Yeah, she is a cool woman, man. I met her last week, and I said, I personally think Joan Rivers is a graceful woman. I think she knows what she's doing, but you can see behind all the jokes, her heart for the industry and her heart for things being better in the industry in the future.
Well, when you...
And I told her that. I said, I think... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when you look at somebody like a Joan Rivers and you take into account, I always say you sort of measure people up right away. We have a tendency to do that, and is that you take somebody like Joan Rivers and you get past the multi-layers of makeup and hairspray, but you see a person who has paved the way for so many women comics. I mean, you know, when you go back and look at Joan Rivers being on The Tonight Show, it wasn't with Jimmy Fallon. And it wasn't with Jay Leno. It was Johnny Carson.
Exactly.
I don't want to say Jack Parr.
And that was the one thing that I really respected about her, and when I watched her documentary, was how bad she felt. I mean, I don't know how many people are aware of the story with her and Johnny Carson, but how she attempted to get her own TV show, went behind his back, and then they never spoke again. And she always felt terrible about it, which she should, I think. But I can tell that she's a sensitive person, and by watching her on a show that I was blessed to be a part of a week and a half ago, I could see that, and that's why I told her. I said, I think you're a really graceful person. She said, oh, you need to go get a drink. so I think she's aware of it. So I did. And I've been on a binge of it.
That's why I'm not mad. I'm drunk.
But yeah, she seemed pretty cool, man.
Well, you'd done some work. You had done some other work for TV shows too. You did a thing for Now, which is a retired adventure for Dennis Quaid. Another one, which wasn't it Dennis Quaid? Was it Vegas or something like that?
Yeah, it was. It was Dennis Quaid. Yeah, that was a funny experience. But yeah, I don't know. I like acting. I like that whole thing. for what it is, but that was a tough experience. You really got to deal with a whole different level of egos when you're dealing with actors like that. And I don't really have anything bad to say about him or anybody.
Well, let me say it for you.
It's difficult.
I'll say, yeah, he's a drunk. No, it's like, I mean, Dennis has had his battles, and there's no, I mean, it's not like it's kept in the archives and afraid to let out. I mean, he's obviously had his battles. And, you know, I mean, anybody that's been in that business for a long time, and I mean, geez, you know, we could trace that through our own family history, i.e. me, and, you know, and i.e. before me. And but the key to, I think it is, and maybe this is something this is where I'm going to kind of play a little bit of both sides of the fence with you, is I think so many people find this as a challenge, and they don't realize the challenge until they get there. You know, I mean, no matter whether you've grown up in the land of law or you transplant, you know, from Scottsbluff, Nebraska to the land of law, it's like it takes on a whole different mentality once you get there, because there are so many people trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely. And with singing, I'm much more confident. With acting, it's this whole other world. I've done some stuff since I was, you know, pretty young. But
yeah, Tyler, I was just going to say, you started your acting classes very young.
Yeah, it's just, I'm just not confident in it like I am with the singing. And I think being so confident in one form of art, you're able to brush aside the negativity because you're so used to it. You kind of know where it's coming from. And with the acting thing, the situation I was in is I was, obviously he was a very accomplished actor, and I have not really done anything. So it was just interesting having to look into his eyes and deal with how impatient he was. And I think he's just being in the industry that long, you lose, for some people, and obviously him being the case, you lose sensitivity to just other human beings who are close to normal. You know, he lives so abnormal.
And you know, there are, matter of fact, the other star in that series, Michael, how do you pronounce his last name? Chilkos or whatever. He's a drummer. I mean, he's actually a very accomplished musician. And Gary Sinise, for example, another actor, Lieutenant Dan. And I mean, he's also a very accomplished bass player. And you know, it might be for you in something like that. You know, it'd be a place with your accomplishments musically, is acting would be more of a fun thing. It'd be kind of the reverse role. You know, because I'm sure Gary Sinise takes his acting very seriously, and yet I'm sure he takes his music as well. But I mean, I think music is a great release for him, and it always has been. But you could reverse the properties, so you could be Tyler Conte, you know, the singer, and then by night, and then by day you could be Donald Duck. You know, work for me. So.
Yeah, interesting.
But I feel it for you in that sense, though. You know, not everybody gets a chance to go and do some of the things that you did. I mean, your trip to Russia, you could probably expound on that for quite a while. But we probably don't know. We probably don't want to know about the 5 hours in France drinking with what's his name in the.
That was interesting. Yeah. Oh man, that was definitely a trip of a lifetime, man. I that's why I enjoy doing music so much. All the things that I've been blessed to see along the way.
Well, you know, I think there's so much more for you. Waiting for you out there, and I think a lesson learned by anybody wanting to do this is pursue it, you know, and I think that's the first thing you have to be given credit for. Not a lot of people would want to just say, like, okay, I'm going to Russia.
Well, the crazy thing is that I literally had $600 to my name and I didn't know how. I was actually planning on moving to Switzerland, which I ended up doing right after, but I had still $600 to my name, and only because I won the festival did I end up being secure and having a $30,000.
Yeah, and eating meatballs on the Nepali coast. Hey, listen, man. Listen, Tyler, I can't thank you enough for calling in. I know, you're my son and everything, and everybody's going to go like, what, did you get him to do it? Yeah, I did. I asked him to do it. I asked him to call in, and I thought maybe, we could have some fun. It's a brand new show, and it's on the Heads Up Network. You know it now. I'm going to wrap this up with you, son. You know I love you, man, and I love you calling in. I wish you were a little bit more pissed off when you call in, but hey, next time, right? But
yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
We're going to sell some chicken here, Tyler. You take care. I'll talk to you. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes after we find out where to put the mothballs. You're listening to the Heads Up Radio Network.
Avalanche Cleaning and Restoration is ready for spring. Are you? Let Avalanche get you ready for summer by making your home or business springtime clean. For your carpet, upholstery, general home cleaning, window cleaning needs, even emergency cleanups, call 208-762-2227. If you've got an emergency, 208-818-4411, or go online at avalancheclean.com. Avalanche, clean, safe, and reliable.
In this world of moving commerce, your business is either moving forward or moving backwards. Make sure it moves forward. Maybe it's time we build a spot that fits your image. Blue Creative Group takes the time needed to put together a spot you want people to hear and make it a marketing tool to drive customers to your business. With the tools that experienced ad agencies and radio stations lack, Blue Creative Group will score it, voice it, and produce it, and if need be, place it on radio and TV stations throughout the Northwest. Blue Creative Group lets you make your branding personal to your target audience. Be creative, be productive, while being cost-effective. Be Blue. Blue Creative Group. Creative marketing plans for the 21st century. Call today, 208-758-0546. 208-758-0546.
Sorry, Jen, I can't make it to our coffee date today. My kids are sick again, and I have a terrible headache, and medicine just doesn't seem to help.
Seems like you guys are always sick. Have you had your house tested for mold?
Come on, Jen, you know me. I keep my house spotless. There's no mold here.
That's what I thought about our house. We had the same problems last year and called Mountain Mold Testing. They came right out and inspected our whole house for mold.
Really? What happened?
Well, Mountain Mold Testing took air samples, and the lab test showed that we were breathing dangerous, invisible mold. We got the mold cleaned up, and now we don't have any more wheezing, headaches, or congestion. They gave us our health back.
Mold can cause numerous health problems, including allergies, chronic headaches, asthma, and lung infections. Children, pregnant women, and the elderly are especially susceptible. Call Mountain Mold Testing at 208-660-8877. That's 208-660-8877. Online at mountainmoldtesting.com.
Carmine Conti, the ref, here on the Heads Up Radio Network.
And welcome back to the Ref. I am Carmine Conti, and we're discussing March Madness today. March. Such a wonderful month to be mad in. We've discussed a myriad of minor little topics, and we had a call in today, and I'm not so ashamed to say I'm proud of the fact it was my son calling in from Los Angeles, but I couldn't get any of my other friends that call in on me today, but we'll remedy that. And in discussing March Madness today, we went over some of the things that really make people so mad in March, but we kind of got into a little thing here with Ty in regards to the Facebook dilemma that's going on. And I know that's been brought in quite a bit. In the last few months, it's been mentioned over and over and over and over, and whether it be on news shows or local shows or what Facebook is. And I'm going to kind of taking that input from Ty today, and I wasn't really bringing in the fact that I was mad about Facebook, but I think he brought up some really good points. And I think what I'm going to do to wrap up our show and our segment, this segment and our show today, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to discuss some of the things about, I'm going to make as what I call, you made the call, Ty, and now I'm going to make the ruling more or less on what I think about Facebook and kind of what you brought into play. Other than that, we did talk about, of course, the famous March Madness that we're living with. I had a little poem that I read earlier. I had a Basketball Ides of March, the poem that I got, and I started realizing it's like, I'm going to kind of let that go and move on away from the basketball thing and kind of take March as itself and the madness of March, which I had talked about earlier. So many things happen in a month that used to be the first month of the year, and then now has become the third month of the year. It's actually the end of the fiscal year in Canada, and it's actually Father's Day month in Italy, and of course St. Patrick's Day is celebrated in Ireland, and of course the United States. March has become, like any other month in the sense that we fill it with so many things because we need so many things to do to keep us from being bored. And that ties into what Facebook is and what I think of Facebook and what some of my friends do and how they feel about it and how they use it and whatever they use it for. It could be used for a myriad of different things. We're finding out that the social network has become something more than just a social network. It's a place you meet people. It's a place that you date people. It's a place that people get married on. And actually even a place where people actually spy on you and actually to the point where it's even people, follow you around in life and see what you're doing to help make maybe their life better. But I can't help but think that in some ways we've lost contact with being social to each other. We do it now through a network. And why is that? And I can give a couple reasons. I'll give you one big reason in regards to even nightclubs. I mean, I spent a good portion of my musical career playing in nightclubs. And because of the Mad Mother drinking laws, or just the fact that people were getting too drunk, or whatever the case may be, I'm not trying to opinionize on that at all, but we have seen the decline of live music in clubs. Live music in general is going away, unless you go to concert venues, which most can't afford. I mean, the tickets last night for a great seat at the Bonamassa concert were $85. So I don't have that. I mean, I don't have that to throw out on a regular basis. Maybe on a particular concert, sure, you bet. But it used to be able to go to clubs and do this all the time. And so my ruling about Facebook is like, listen, if you are going to use it as a socializing network to be able to mingle and meet friends and promote yourself and advertise about things that you're going to do, fine. But look, guys, let's not get caught up in the politics of things about words and everything else. Let's learn to be loving to each other and to your brother and sister. I think that's the word of the day. Love your brother and your sister. Listen, until next time, I'll see you next Wednesday. My name is Carmine Conti. I am the Ref, and you are listening to us here on the Heads Up Radio Network.